Welcome back to the second instalment of action from the British Minibikes Championship, the final round, round 4 from Three Sisters in Wigan. This is our first look this season at the Minibike 140 class. Decent grid, decent action typically, and Jake Sanson is your race commentator.
Arnie Carr in pole position, the only rider to lap the course in under a minute, alongside Aaron Robinson, Tommy Armand and Tommy Fielding on the second row of the grid. Then it's Samuel Morrison alongside Tim Patterson, with Gary Johnson, Claire Hugh and Chris Heimers, Aidan Walker and Finley Cottenham from Sean Brunning and Daniel Cliff. Then we have Sid Marshall and Liam Booth, Mark Portis and Liam Trinder from Tom Wise, Harry Swan, Ryan Hayburn, Simon Portis, and that's your lot. Off we go! Great start into paddock bend for the first time as Arnie Carr holds the initial advantage as the riders go through. Oh, there's a faller. It's Gary Johnson Clenahue. Now, in the senior categories, of course, they can get back on the bike, and it looks like Liam Booth has come off as well. So several riders there in dire straits. I think there were 2 or 3 more that ended up losing time. But out in front, it is Arnie Carr battling away with Tommy Armand. So Armand has gone with Arnie Carr. The rest of the field squabbling away. That's Fielding, Morrison, and Robinson giving chase with Patterson in the mix there. Chris Heimers and Aidan Walker are in the mix there as well. They come off the turn and it's 3 wide for third position. Goodness me, Fielding, Morrison and Robinson were so close together as into the lead goes Tommy Armand as they run up Pentith Climb. They will drop down Coward Summit and here comes Arnie Carr back for more. Trying to dive his way through to the inside line and he will try it on into Pit Bend and he's there. So Arnie Carr retakes the lead from Tommy Armand as they swap positions now. Excellent race in between them. Dive in for the next pit bend. There's several overtaking moves on this first lap. Everybody wants a piece of this as they try and steady themselves into a neat rhythm. That looks like Fielding down to 5th position. I was going to say 4th, but it looks like both Morrison and Robinson have now been able to make the gains they needed to come through. So Robinson into 3rd, Morrison through into 4th, and it's still ridiculously close up front between Arnie Carr and Tommy Armand. But look at Sam Morrison all over Aaron Robinson trying to sweep his way through. He's done it on the inside line there. We'll have to see who's been able to come through on top of the others, but it is going to be Aaron Robinson giving chase, and here we go again as Tommy Armand once again manages to take the lead away from Arnie Carr. Same spot, 2 consecutive laps. Here comes Arnie Carr back for more. Tommy Armand's got to shut him down on the inside line this time. But Arnie Carr will be trying again this time. Tommy Armand resists Arnie Carr. So he has taken the lead, and this time it's legit. Down in the inside line though, that didn't take long. Arnie Carr retaliates and gets back to the inside line and retakes the lead again. Very close indeed between these two, as Arnie Carr and Tommy Armand give us plenty of excitement. The Minibike 140s really do have us on fever pitch here. Through the S's. Then they'll straighten up as they go down the short Rogerson's straight. And then they'll go into the left-hander, which heads into Luna Bend. Diving up the inside line for 3rd position. Oh, big mistake there. Big twitch, I'm afraid, from Patterson. So that's cost him a few positions, I'm afraid. Just a little bit hesitant as they worked their way through. He was in P6, so he's lost a little bit of momentum there. I think he's out to really work hard to gain it back again as Tommy Armand, yet again, back on the inside line, and yet again Tommy Armand takes the lead away from Arnie Carr. 3 consecutive laps he's taken the lead of Arnie Carr in exactly the same place. He held him off on the 2nd lap initially until Arnie Carr came back at him, and that's exactly what Arnie Carr is going to do again. Goodness me, 3 laps in a row now. Tommy Armand has taken the lead away from Arnie Carr heading into Pentith Climb, and by the time they get up towards Lucy's Valley, it is Arnie Carr back in front again. They've been swapping the lead all the way through, and still they go wheel to wheel, handlebar to handlebar. Tommy Armand desperately trying to keep in front of Arnie Carr, but he gets the move. This is for P12. This is Trinder. Hayburn trying to go on the inside of him. Daniel Cliff is in there, and so too is the recovering Gary Johnson Clenahue. So there are some gains to be made, but this is pretty exciting stuff. As yet again, up the inside line, Tommy Armand has done it again on Arnie Carr. But what does he have to do to keep Arnie Carr at bay? He gets him every time out of Luna. And now back to the inside line. It's like the first move all over again as Arnie Carr steals back the lead, captured beautifully from the drone. This time he runs deep, but Armand has not been able to get on the throttle fast enough to counter-attack. And so it's stalemate once more. Well, we've got a couple of retirements from the race. Liam Booth clearly picked up damage from his little trip up. He's out of the race, and so too is Finley Cottenham, I'm afraid to say. So 2 retirements then from a very frustratingly short race for those 2. But still, it's these 2 battling and squabbling away. Arnie Carr versus Tommy Armand, and check out the squabble further back. This is still raging for the lower positions. This is just outside the top 10. That's Daniel Cliff trying to get in the mix there with Gary Johnson-Cleverhue and Liam Trinder, I believe. So that's the battle still for about 11th and 12th position. On the inside again, Tommy Armand, 5 laps in a row. He has made that move slip, but they've got to be careful because here comes Aaron Robinson. Robinson is catching these 2. The more they fight, the more Robinson's got a chance to retaliate and get himself into the winning position himself. So this time it looks as though Tommy Armand has done the deed and made it stick, because Arnie Carr cannot respond quickly enough. And so Arnie Carr looks over his shoulder and suddenly realises, hang on a minute, that's Aaron Robinson closing up on both of us. So now there could be an opportunity here. Arnie Carr leading the way initially, but now Tommy Armand's got him as the battle for 11th position intensifies. Johnson-Cleverhue, Trinder, Cliff, Hayburn, all 4 riders with a point to prove here, as that is Gary Johnson-Cleverhue making his way back to the outskirts of the top 10 after his fall on the opening tour. Battle for the lead, and it is a battle for the lead because here comes Armand, but Robinson's got the run here on Arnie Carr. He's fractionally in front, and Aaron Robinson gets into 2nd place now. He takes Arnie Carr. So now 3 men are battling for the victory. We thought it was going to be 2 men squabbling all the way, but Aaron Robinson really has been picking up the lap times, and now it is going to be a dice between all 3 of them for this race victory. In the background you can see Patterson, Morrison and Tommy Fielding having a great scrap. So there's 2 battles between 3 riders here, 1 for the lead, 1 for P4 as they go into Lucy's Valley. It is Armand, Robinson and Carr. Now can Aaron Robinson close up enough on Tommy Armand that he becomes a threat to him? This could be a really intriguing challenge now. We've obviously seen the battles develop. Coming up to the end of the lap, Tommy Armand has got Aaron Robinson all over him. Meanwhile, 8th position is being contested between Tom Wise and Chris Heimers. So those 2 are fairly close together. Here comes Aaron Robinson. He's got Tommy Armand on the brake, and he takes the lead. Aaron Robinson on the inside, and he leads here at Three Sisters as they drop out of Coward Summit. We've now got 3 different leaders in this race. Arnie Carr led, Tommy Armand led, and now Aaron Robinson leads. Fantastic work from Robinson. He wobbles coming out of Paddock Bend though, and now he's going to go wheel to wheel as through comes Tommy Armand once again to retake the lead. So Robinson led, but it was brief. Now he's got to try and focus on closing back up to Tommy Armand in the lead of this race. It is getting very tight, and the more these riders squabble, the more it's going to tighten up between the top 3 and 4th, 5th, 6th. A little bit of traffic to deal with for the race leader, Tommy Armand. That's going to tighten things up. Robinson has a look on the inside line. He's going to get held up here by the back marker. And as he comes off the turn, Tommy Armand will lead the way here from Aaron Robinson in 2nd position. It's going to be a dice as they come off the turn together. Robinson's going to be just a nose in front. Last lap begins. Hang on, where is Robinson? Robinson's disappeared. Aaron Robinson is no longer there. Carr is in 2nd in front of Fielding, Morrison and Tim Patterson. So Aaron Robinson has fallen from the fray. Now Arnie Carr is in big trouble. Oh, big twitch from Patterson. He just about manages to save it, but that's any chance of the podium now gone for Tim Patterson. But it's going to be Fielding in front of Arnie Carr. Aaron Robinson fell on the penultimate lap. He must have gone down at Luna. Big disaster for Aaron Robinson. He was leading very briefly indeed, but all of that shenanigans has now handed the victory to Tommy Armand. All of those laps of persistently trying to get his way ahead of Arnie Carr, they have paid off, and so he will come through to take the victory here at Three Sisters. It's been an absolute classic, but it's Tommy Armand who takes the checkered flag here at Three Sisters. Excellent work. Tommy Fielding will be 2nd ahead of Arnie Carr, Sam Morrison and Tim Patterson. but you have got to feel for Aaron Robinson. What a shame. It's Armand, Fielding, Carr, Morrison and Patterson at the line ahead of Harry Swan, with Tom Wise in 7th position ahead of Chris Heimers, Liam Trinder and Daniel Cliff. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just for starters. It's time for the Ohvale 110 and Mini GP 110 riders to come out onto the course. Leon Simpson and Caden Herring front row the starting grid. Ella Mosgrove and Thomas Med are on the second, from Cody Brennan and Carter Spinks. Then Austin Dilks and Sam Whitaker. To round out the top 10, we have Matthew Jennings and Dylan Cook ahead of CJ Maguire and William Dickinson. JJ Manchester, Seth Hayward, Rex Armand, Dan Tanton and Charlie Forrester will round out the field. Leon Simpson may be in pole position, but Caden Herring was the fastest rider in the warm-up this morning, so he's definitely got a good chance to move his way further forward. But in these greasy and treacherous conditions here at Three Sisters, we know how competitive the Ohvale 110s can be, so anything is still possible. The grid is being cleared, and what can Ella Mosgrove do from a very spirited 3rd position on the grid? Definitely a big chance to go for the victory for her. In terms of lap times, she's still about half a second or so away from the front row pair, but there's genuine opportunity now for the riders to make good. So into the Ohvale 110 class we go, and Avante! Forward we go. The riders from age 10 will now get their way through that first hairpin. Is everybody going to get through cleanly? Looks like it. And no worries at all at the moment for Leon Simpson, who blasts out of the blocks and is certainly looking pretty comfortable at the moment in front of Caden Herring and Ella Mosgrove. No dramas so far. That's Thomas Med trying to attack Ella Mosgrove on the white and red machine in 3rd position. Very good work so far though from Ella. No hiccups on the start and settling into a neat rhythm. That's all you can do on the first lap of a race like this when the track is still drying out from the earlier rain. You've just got to take advantage of what the circuit gives you. So at the moment, Mosgrove still runs 3rd. Thomas Med under increasing pressure now from Cody Brennan as they go up over the top of the brow. And it looks pretty interesting up to the inside line. Will there be a dive on the inside line? There is from Cody Brennan. What a character, charging through on the first lap. Not waiting around, get on with it. And through he goes into that 4th position mark. Excellent work then from the 79. That is Cody Brennan ahead of Thomas Med now. Whitaker P6, then Spinks, Jennings, Hayward and Dylan Cook. A very solid start. You do tend to get fewer shenanigans on the first lap in the Ohvale 110s because the riders just want to get through that first lap without drama. They want to tick off these laps one by one. Once they're comfortable, once they're settled into the ride and they can feel the instincts starting to kick back in, they understand a little bit more about what the track is doing, then they'll start getting more aggressive. Then they'll start going for those big, bold moves. Mind you, Cody Brennan, one of the only riders in the field, deciding not to wait around for it. So a good start so far then for Cody Brennan. It's Simpson, Herring, Mosgrove, then Brennan, Med, Whitaker, Spinks, Jennings, Hayward and Dylan Cook. Good start so far from Austin Dilks as well. He's worked his way up to 14th, so he's already made up 2 places from the start as Brennan now attacks Ella Mosgrove. That's for 3rd position. So Cody Brennan, clearly very comfortable in these variable conditions, certainly not waiting around and eager to put his fellow riders under pressure. Ella Mosgrove, this is a character building opportunity for her to showcase her skills. 3rd position, holding on ahead of Cody Brennan as we watch Thomas Med and Sam Whitaker go to blows in 5th and 6th. Keeping it tidy. Working their way up towards Luna. In 7th, that's Carter Spinks on the 296. But out in front, it's Simpson and Herring. It is the double act, once again putting on the show. And they really are putting on a storm here as both riders getting close to each other. Caden Herring, a 102.9 on that last lap, trying to make the bid as they almost go side by side down Coward Summit. But Leon Simpson does hold the lead still to Caden Herring. Ella Mosgrove being brave here as she holds on from Cody Brennan. 2 big defensive races from Leon Simpson and Ella Mosgrove as their fighters, Caden Herring and Cody Brennan, turn up the dial. Caden Herring on the blue, red and white bike, number 95. in behind the 85 of Leon Simpson. All on equal Ohvale 110s in the top 4. Thomas Med on his Mini GP 110 bike as we watch the duel between Matthew Jennings, Seth Hayward, Dylan Cook and Rex Armand. All the way through this battle, all the way through this grid, you will see plenty of duels. Here's Ella Mosgrove. I'm not sure she's quite got the speed out of Luna to cope with Cody Brennan, who asserts himself down the Conrod straight. And as they turn into Pentith Climb, oh, he's run wide. Ella Mosgrove will bounce back and up over the top of the Bray. And she's back through into 3rd position. Excellent work from Ella Mosgrove. Simpson still leads Herring, and Mosgrove fights back. What a fantastic little racer Ella Mosgrove is proving to be. She chops across the bow of Cody Brennan to shut down any chance of 3rd position again there. My word, I said at the start that this was going to be a character building race for Ella Mosgrove, and she is riding to the occasion. To the inside line is Cody Brennan going to dive to the inside. What a move from Cody Brennan in the S's. He manages to storm into the inside line and grabs a potential podium. Ella Mosgrove put up an amazing fight, but Cody Brennan was resolute. I am going into 3rd place, and there's nothing you can do to stop me except have an accident. Excellent work from Cody Brennan, P3. So now it's Simpson, Herring, Brennan and Mosgrove. Whittaker's up to 5th ahead of Thomas Med. They're battling away as well. Spinks is 7th from Jennings, Hayward, Cook, Armand and CJ Maguire. But out in front you can see Simpson and Herring still trading lap times. There were nothing between them last time. Leon Simpson did a 102.882. Caden Herring did a 102.847. There are thousandths of a second between them on lap times here. And this is fantastic stuff, and it's not going to be too long before they start lapping traffic. So the first rider they're going to lap is going to be Charlie Forrester. This battle for 8th place is still kicking on. Jennings, Hayward, Cook, Armand, and I think CJ Maguire is not that far away from it. So he could make up some moves later on. Through come the leaders. Charlie, stay predictable. Good lad, well done. No worries at all for the leaders to get through, as Charlie Forrester sticks to the racing line, doesn't move around, doesn't cause them a headache. And now a good run from Caden Herring up Pentith Climb, down Coward Summit. Can he commit? No, it's too big a risk down into Pit Bend. So along the pit straight they go towards Paddock. And Caden Herring really is sizing up the attack here. Will he get his shot before the checkered flag falls? Because there really isn't much to choose between these two riders here. Leon Simpson still hanging 10 from Caden Herring. Cody Brennan P3 from Mosgrove, Whittaker, Med, Spinks, Jennings, Hayward and Dylan Cook. Very competitive top 10. Here is that battle for 8th again. This is the Jennings, Hayward, Cook and Armand special. 4 riders very close together. They managed to get a decent enough gap over CJ Maguire and JJ Manchester to be relatively calm. But this is a proper little tussle. Speaking of tussles, here comes Caden Herring again, battling for the lead with Leon Simpson. Only 2 laps to go now. This is not going to be an easy steal if Caden Herring is going to take this away from Leon Simpson. They go up Pentith Climb, dropping down Coward Summit, and this is where again Caden Herring can really turn up the dial and make a push there for Leon Simpson. But you've got to be so careful when you get down on the power. You can't carry too much speed through Pit Bend because of the change in elevation. Then through the right-hander at Paddock, short squirt, Lucy's Valley, left-hander. Caden Herring really starting to threaten Leon Simpson's superiority here. This is where things could get pretty racy. They fly through the S's, left, right, lean back to the left onto the Rogerson straight. Back to this battle again, and Seth Hayward fancies his chances on Matthew Jennings. So this is definitely going to be tight. But at the moment, it is a stalemate between the 2 riders. Here comes Caden Herring. He'll never get a better shot coming off Luna. And as they power down the Conrod straight, into the last lap we go. Caden Herring knows he's running on empty. He's got to find an opportunity now because he won't get many more. Leon Simpson dropping down Coward Summit, up towards Pit Bend. Can Caden Herring go for it? He's not close enough. So Leon Simpson lives to fight another day down the pit straight, up towards Paddock Bend. Caden, you've got to try and find something. Leon Simpson's going to take the win off you. He goes quicker on acceleration out of Paddock Bend, but he can't tighten up for Lucy's Valley. Could he get this done on the approach to the S's? Not close enough, but he can set it up after the S's towards the Rogerson straight. Caden Herring will not give up. Left, right, lean in, left, along the Rogerson straight. Still this battle for 8th goes on between Jennings, Hayward, Cook and Armand. CJ Maguire catching up a little bit all the time, but the core battle is still going to be between Simpson and Herring to the line. Who's going to get there first? They come off the turn. Herring's quick, but I think Leon Simpson should just about have this to the line. It was tight, but Simpson gets there by 0.177.
Tight indeed across the two classes. The Ohvale 110 Cup shows Leon Simpson winning from Herring and Cody Brennan, with Ellen Mosgrove, as Jake said, ever improving in the Mini GP 110 class. 7 in this one, headed by Thomas Med from Carter Spinks. In third, it was Matthew Jennings.
But if you thought Cody Brennan was done for the day, think again. He's on pole position for the Junior SM90 class alongside Jake Todd on the front row. Louis Craig and Tommy Dickinson are there on the second. Then it's Joey Billam alongside Carter Spinks. Oscar Duckworth lines up beside Hugh McDowell on the fourth row. Rounding out the top 10, it's Oliver Med and Bobby Baker. And then we have Dylan Mosgrove, Oscar Rowland and Henry Carr not taking part in the qualification. And we are limited to just 11 riders in the Junior SM90 as a result. So all the contenders ready for another exciting duel. Cody Brennan wants to convert this pole position into a fairly easy run. A little bit of a last-minute check there for Jake Todd. You don't want those moments to creep in and ruin your calm and composure before the start of the race. But he has allowed a little opportunity to get us under starters' orders there. So what will the Junior SM90 riders give us for their showcase race? Cody Brennan has just come fresh off the back of getting a podium in the Ohvale 110 Cup. So what can he do in Junior SM90 from pole position? They look to the lights and we go racing at Three Sisters. And it's a perfect start for Cody Brennan. No worries at all there for the number 79. He launches straight into the lead. So having just taken on the challenges of his performance in the Ohvale 110s, he's looking to lead by example in the Junior SM90. No worries at all in front of Jake Todd. That looks like Tommy Dickinson and Louis Craig dueling away there for third position. Joey Billam and Oscar Duckworth have made a fairly steady start. Then it's McDowell and Rowland right at the back. That is Dylan Mosgrove. So Dylan Mosgrove having a difficult start. So he's got a lot of work to do to catch up to Oliver Med and Bobby Baker. But at least he has got going after a bit of a difficulty at the start there. So out in front, Cody Brennan leading the way as up the inside line. That is close between Dickinson and Craig. So Tommy Dickinson and Louis Craig. Unfortunately, no change for Louis as he desperately tries to find his way through into third position down the bottom of the crest into pit bend and along the pit straight. Can he find his feet? Brennan clear, Todd in second. Is Louis Craig going to get this move into third position? He dives it on the inside line of Tommy Dickinson and he gets the job done. Nicely handled there. Sweet move from Louis Craig on Tommy Dickinson. That puts him into third position. I've got a feeling that this could be one of those afternoons for Louis Craig. Certainly putting up the speed and showcasing what he's got. Very wide lines here on the course as running off the road there. Little bit of an issue as dropping back. I think that was Oscar Duckworth just losing a place there to Oscar Rowland. And as they work their way through at the end of the lap, it's still Cody Brennan out in front, but that's Louis Craig now ahead of Jake Todd. He has absolutely caught him napping out of Luna Bend. Now he's going to try and come back at him. There goes Jake Todd up to the inside line. And Louis Craig is put back into third position, but that was a rude awakening there for Jake Todd. I wonder if something happened to him at Luna and he just lost a little bit of speed, because now he's managed to get back in front of Louis Craig and he's checked out already. So I wonder if there was just a slight error from Jake Todd and he was able to keep it upright rather than fall off the bike. He's got back in front of Louis Craig and Craig is doing his best to stay with him, but it's looking pretty academic already. The 7th position. Nice little battles cooking up here as Oscar Duckworth is now under threat from Hugh McDowell and Oliver Med. Some good racing between those three. Bobby Baker still P10 behind, and Dylan Mosgrove trying to catch up to them all, but I think he's got more problems with that bike than first realised. So he's going to drop back quite considerably. There is Dylan Mosgrove being lapped then in the battle for second place. Jake Todd is actually still being hunted down here by Louis Craig. He's not finished for second place yet. So Louis Craig clearly heard me and thought, hang on a minute, what's the bloke on about? I can go for this. So second position could still be Louis Craig's. He's got to fight for it. And in these Junior SM90 races, you only get 6 laps because these are considerably younger riders than their counterparts before them. So they only have to do 6 laps of the course here. This is good defense from Jake Todd. Louis Craig trying to get the switcheroo to get back up the inside line. Go for a tighter trajectory. Can he go right round the outside of Jake Todd? That's extremely high risk. And in the end, he just decides to bail out of the throttle and keep it in third position. But for sure, in this race, Louis Craig is now a threat. Duckworth, McDowell and Med still having their little race for 7th position. It's so important in these battles that you take every single place you can out of them. That's how you learn. That's how you get faster. And then eventually you'll join the ranks of these guys, Jake Todd and Louis Craig, battling over 2nd position. Halfway home. This is going to be fascinating to see if Louis Craig can get the run here on Jake Todd. They have pulled well clear of Tommy Dickinson. They're actually going about 5 seconds a lap faster than him. Certainly on the last lap they did anyway. I wonder if Dickinson may have had a bit of an issue because even Billum and Oscar Rowland were able to lap quicker than him, and in the previous laps they weren't able to match him on pace. So Dickinson may have had a bit of a twitch there. He's out of sight of us because we're busy focusing on Jake Todd and Louis Craig. Todd hugs the inside line, Craig holds the racing line, gets back on the power a little bit earlier on the throttle. Oh, he almost made it. Now he's going to fly right round the outside. Oh, that's high risk again from Louis Craig. He was lucky that he stayed upright on the pinion. Well, this is going to be very tricky indeed between these two riders. Cody Brennan still making it very light work out in front. He's in the 108s at the moment, having done a best time of a 108.63. And nobody is able to get even in amongst the 110s at the moment. So this is a clean break for Cody Brennan, but Jake Todd and Louis Craig are still having a terrific duel for 2nd position. 4 down, 2 to go. Pentith climb, down Coward Summit. And Louis Craig is not quite close enough to Jake Todd to be a threat on this particular part of the lap. They've got a slower bike in front of them, that is Bobby Baker. So Bobby Baker is able to move aside without chaos and just lets them go, so no worries at all. Very smart riding there from Bobby Baker. It's not easy when you're having to learn how to ride this bike at the same time as learning how to race it. Oh, Louis Craig getting closer than ever to Jake Todd. Maybe he'll get his shot then as he goes around the far side. Again, he's going to have to commit to that outside line. Is there traction? Oh, that doesn't appear to be. Louis Craig doing his best to roll forward there, but he was treating that corner more like a cart than he was a bike. Trying to hold it right round the outside and hope that there was enough grip. But if you're going to experiment, you have to take into account the fact that your changes and variations in line could spell the end of a chance for the race win. So Jake Todd again holding on from Louis Craig as they go into the final lap here at Three Sisters. Cody Brennan well clear. He's about 18 seconds ahead of this duel for 2nd place. But Louis Craig can now really step it up as they drop out of Coward Summit down towards Pit Bend. He's only going to get 2 more chances really for the overtake here. He's got to get on the power slightly earlier than Jake Todd. Slight flick of the wrist and he might be able to get closer to him. Paddock Bend, no joy. And I've got a feeling when they go through the left-hander this time by, although he'll get close, there's going to be no joy again. As round the far side, they are closing up on Oliver Med to lap him. I think Med's got a problem there. So that's going to be him cruising to the line. But speaking of cruising to the line, Cody Brennan has done that as the winner here at Three Sisters. He has dominated proceedings in the Junior SM90 race. Jake Todd versus Louis Craig is going to go down to the wire, and it's going to be Jake Todd. Louis Craig gave it everything, but Jake Todd had the measure of him on this occasion. So Cody Brennan gets it in front of Jake Todd and Louis Craig Tommy Dickinson in P4 ahead of Joey Billam and Oscar Rowland. 7th for Hugh McDowell ahead of Oscar Duckworth, Bobby Baker and Oliver Med. Some good racing all the way through there, but Cody Brennan is the king of Junior SM90 here in Wigan. We go back on the road to MotoGP with the FIM Mini GP UK 190 category, and it's Tyler Humphries and Wilson Dilks on the front row of the grid from Hudson Cooper and the wet weather king Charlie Cunningham. Lucas King, 5th position on the starting grid. In Mini GP 190/70, it'll be Joshua Herring alongside Harry Rafferty, and then Ollie Everts and David Wilton. So, can Humphries resist Wilson Dilks, or will it be the 85 that launches to the first corner first? We will find out as we go racing at Three Sisters. And it's a cracking start from Wilson Dilks. He launches into the lead here ahead of Humphries, Cooper and Cunningham. Lucas King just trying to stay with them in the first couple of corners. Hudson Cooper giving chase, but Charlie Cunningham not able at the moment to repeat his incredible wet weather prowess from earlier on. He just doesn't quite seem to have the same pace as he did in the wet. Now that it's dry, this is Dilks, Humphries and Cooper territory. Exactly what we've come to expect from the FIM Mini GP UK Road to MotoGP category. Here are the Mini GP 190/70s, Herring ahead of Rafferty, then Everts ahead of Wilton. And already this battle has begun between Tyler Humphries and Wilson Dilks. Dilks is your leader, down Coward Summit, flying through the right-hander. Is Tyler Humphries going to be able to produce something here to get alongside? He can't quite get level. Now you really get to see the proper raw speed of these bikes in the dry conditions at Three Sisters. Very tight stuff to conclude the season, but Tyler Humphries all over Wilson Dilks as they hurtle their way into the S's. Good work from Wilson Dilks and Tyler Humphries. They pulled well clear of Hudson Cooper. To be fair to them, that is no lean achievement. Charlie Cunningham still there in 4th ahead of Lucas King. There's the Mini GP 190/70 leader. It is Joshua Herring on the 29 ahead of the treble one of Harry Rafferty. So through they come to complete the first full lap. Tyler Humphries going to make his move on the inside line. Can't quite finish the job on Wilson Dilks. He did get a faster lap time though than Wilson Dilks that time around. Going to try and carry the speed down towards pit bend, but he can't sustain it. Wilson Dilks is really making Tyler Humphries work for this. Such a difficult race it was always going to be. But Wilson Dilks is making Tyler Humphries really pack his punches to try and elevate himself further forward. This is going to be a duel all the way to the checkered flag between these two men. Through the S's, left, right, lean across, lean again, left, Rogerson straight, and then through the left-hand kink up towards Luna. Now this is the battle for 6th position, which is between Harry Rafferty and Joshua Herring. Still having a very decent ride of it at the moment, Josh Herring and Harry Rafferty. It won't be too long before they start to make the progress. Up on the inside line, Tyler Humphries tries his best to go for Wilson Dilks as we go into the 3rd lap of racing. And Wilson Dilks is really pushing hard here to try and stay in front of Tyler Humphries. Humphries is really making Wilson Dilks work for this. Trying to dive in on the inside line, through to Paddock Bend. It's going to be very tricky indeed between these two. They're keeping it really tight as they go through. Tyler Humphries goes round the long way on Wilson Dilks, who's really having to work hard here to keep Tyler Humphries off his back. Through to the S's. Left, right, left and onto the Rogerson straight, and they will make that charge again towards Luna. And this is where Wilson Dilks is going to go under massive pressure from Tyler Humphries. Further back, Joshua Herring, no problem at all in front of Harry Rafferty. He's content to continue to run forward as they continue their charge. It's going to be very tight indeed across the line as they go side by side. Dilks in front of Tyler Humphries as they continue to push further forward. Excellent stuff between the two men. Dropping down Coward Summit. Up towards pit bend, right-hander. Power, down the pit straight, and up towards Paddock Bend. Can Tyler Humphries overhaul Wilson Dilks? It's not easy, because this is not an easy man to ride against. Down to the braking zone, he draws level, maybe even a whisker of a wheel in front of his opponent, but on the inside line, Wilson Dilks remains. It's going to be so difficult for Tyler Humphries to get ahead of his opposition, but there's nothing to choose between them here at Three Sisters. One final push is required here from Tyler Humphries if he wants to take the victory away from the hungry Wilson Dilks. He's going to try everything he can going into the last lap. There is nothing between them. Charlie Cunningham has managed to work his way further forward onto the tail of Hudson Cooper, but not close enough to challenge for the podium. Meanwhile, this is now Tyler Humphries' last shot down the pit straight. There's nothing in it. And Wilson Dilks is able to chop across and ensure that he doesn't lose the inside apex. He's going to hold the inside line here for the hairpin. As round the outside, Tyler Humphries did move fractionally in front. Can he get the switcheroo? Wilson Dilks holds it to the inside line. Left at the S's, hold your nerve. Right at the S's, hold your nerve again, then through the left onto the Rogerson straight. And there's only 2 corners effectively to go now. There's the battle further back. That is Hudson Cooper in front of Charlie Cunningham, and it's going to stay that way. But here come the 2 leaders. Dilks in front of Humphries. Humphries got a fast trajectory off the turn. They cross the line. Humphries has got it. He's got it by 0.03 of a second over Wilson Dilks. He's only led for a couple of centimetres in this race, but they are the crucial centimetres to give him the win. Incredible. Hudson Cooper will finish in P3 ahead of Charlie Cunningham with Lucas King in P5. But look at that, 0.03 of a second. Tyler Humphries vanquishes Wilson Dilks in the dying seconds of this race. In the Mini GP 190/70, it's Josh Herring that takes victory ahead of Harry Rafferty, with Ollie Everts ahead of David Wilton. What a race!
Just time for one more race then, Minibike 160 and Veterans Race 2.
Tim Patterson and Tommy Fielding will be on the front row of the grid. Chris Heimers and Jake Whittaker will do battle for 3rd and 4th. Chris Grieve and Lee West will be rounding up the top 6, with Jamie Smith alongside Matthew Lindley. Then Sam Morrison and Ben Johnson rounding up the top 10 ahead of Michael Judkins and Jordan Grant. Mike Carr is ahead of Aidan Walker, then Connor Smith and Barry Lindley, with Nicky Margetson and Cameron Caulfield. Cameron Hawes is alongside Jim Pallister, and then the final riders will be Dave Cook, Pete Johnson, Aaron Parker, Barry Clark, Adam Hilton and Ben Nixon. So it'll be Patterson versus Fielding to the first corner, and that is going to be electricity. Let's see just how quick it is out of the blocks, and it's going to be Fielding round the outside to steal the lead away from Tim Patterson. Good launch forward from Fielding, and Whittaker has come up from 4th on the grid as well. He's made a decent launch to get himself into 3rd position. That's beating Chris Heimers off the line, who has had a bit of a nightmare. He's already down to P6 behind, I think that's Weston Morrison. So we've already got ourselves a very intriguing encounter as Fielding runs ahead of Patterson and Jake Whittaker. Then West, Morrison, Heimers, Grieve, Lindley, and I think that's Ben Johnson ahead of Jamie Smith there in the top 10. Cameron Caulfield, P11 ahead of Michael Judkins. So as the riders swarm out of Luna and go down the Conrod straight, this is now going well for Tommy Fielding. He's got pressure from Patterson and Whittaker, but the rest of the field are all dealing with each other. Dropping out of Coward Summit, and it's Fielding, Patterson and Whittaker. West leads the cavalry. There's Caulfield getting himself in amongst the mix there with Johnson and Smith. Michael Judkins and Dave Cook are trying to make some progress as well. But at the moment, it's a perfectly textbook start here in the Minibike 160 and Minibike Veterans. So their earlier race of the day saw an absolute masterclass performance in very difficult and very exciting circumstances, it has to be said. From the earlier encounter, that race of course wrapped up in fantastic style by Tommy Fielding, but can he make it 2 from 2? Very tricky to predict. We all know how difficult it is in this field, but he's certainly made a perfect launch out of the blocks. He'll get to complete the first full lap now as they go out of Luna Bend, and it is Fielding out in front, Patterson in 2nd, then Whittaker, West, Morrison. Then in P6 is Grieve ahead of Johnson, so Chris Heimers really is struggling. He's down to 8th position now, ahead of the ever-rising Cameron Caulfield. Still they battle. Great wheel-to-wheel stuff here at Three Sisters. Here are the leaders. Fielding, Patterson, Whittaker. Morrison trying to put some pressure on Lee West in 4th position. But the leading trio very much in a class of their own, in a race of their own up front. No headaches at all for them. And Tim Patterson starting to really get into the rhythm now. Wants to take on Tommy Fielding, but he knows he's got to time it right, and he's also got to pace himself. Wants to make sure he's got all the best opportunities to get into the lead, but he also won't want to concede to Jake Whittaker behind him. And there's the battle further back. That's Ben Johnson, P7, Hymers, Caulfield, Linley, Jamie Smith, Michael Judkins and Mike Carr, all in that mix, along with Dave Cook and Aidan Walker. That battle goes all the way back to Aidan Walker in 15th place from Chris Hymers in 8th. Amazing. And it was Chris Hymers in 8th, now it's Chris Grieve. He's got ahead. So Chris Grieve now working his way forward. Caulfield's having an amazing comeback. He's up into 7th place now. So there's the trio. Patterson closer than ever to Fielding. West and Morrison, oh, they so nearly come together in Paddock Bend. Now that the track is getting faster, everybody just wants to put it out there and run the limit. That's what this sport is all about, racing on the ragged edge. What's that old famous saying? If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. And certainly that would be the case for Patterson as he watches Tommy Fielding. He certainly feels that the leader is taking up too much room. He's not getting out of the way. He's not letting me come through into the lead of the race, thinks Tim Patterson. Jake Whittaker still waiting in 3rd position, looking for his own piece of history here. Down the Conrod Straight. Right, up Pentith Climb. Dropping down from Coward Summit, they will go. It's still this battle from 7th downwards is relentless at the end of lap 3. Amazing stuff. Caulfield, Grieve, Lindley, Cook, Hymers, Smith, Carr, Judkins, and then Aidan Walker and Barry Clark all the way down to P16 now. We've got so many bikes in this squad. But look at Patterson. He's never been closer to Tommy Fielding. As Johnson now in P6 under big pressure from Cameron Caulfield. Grieve leads the charge behind them. Bikes to the left of him, bikes to the right of him. This is tough stuff for Tommy Fielding, knowing that Patterson and Whittaker are all over the back of him. In the braking zones, we've seen some duels. I think that's the move from Caulfield to get through on Ben Johnson. I may be wrong, but certainly there are shuffles of the deck as they run through to complete the 4th lap. Fielding, Patterson, Whittaker. Look back, big distance between Whittaker and West. Although Samuel Morrison is looking for the move, up to the inside line, and he's got it. Samuel Morrison leans on it to get into 4th place there up to Pentith Climb. That took nerves of steel, and Sam Morrison is now in front of Lee West for 4th position. The leaders are still squabbling amongst themselves, but nobody can upstage Sam Morrison in that gutsy move at turn 1. So through Patterson and Whittaker pursue Fielding. Still they race. You have no idea how this battle is going to resume because neither do they. They will complete the 5th lap, and Fielding, Patterson and Whittaker are joined at the hip. They are nose to tail. This is very tight stuff indeed. Between the front wheel and the back wheel, there's only a couple of millimeters separating them all. So through past Conrod Straight. Still Fielding, Patterson, Whittaker. Morrison now in front of West. We saw that epic overtaking move into the run up to Pentith Climb. There's a big gap back to Johnson and Caulfield. Patterson tries again on Tommy Fielding. Can't dive in at Pit Bend. Down the pit straight, up towards Paddock Bend. And is this going to be the overtake? No, Patterson can't get close enough. They are running out of time. They are running out of laps. So Patterson knows he's got to make this overtake, and he's got to do it quick because Jake Whittaker fancies his own chance out of Lucy's Valley. Then it will be the left, right, left here at the S's on the approach to the Rogerson Straight. And Tim Patterson really needs to go for it. Any chance of getting ahead of Tommy Fielding, it'll need to be fighting fire with fire. So there is the Johnson, Caulfield, Cook, Carr, Linley fray. Still some good battles in that midfield. But Tommy Fielding now knows he's only got 2 laps to hold off Patterson and Whittaker. Up to Pentith Climb. And Patterson is all over Tommy Fielding this time. He's going to draw level as they go down Coward Summit. He has to hang back. Now he's got to prepare and set himself up for Pit Bend along the pit straight and up to Paddock Bend. I think he compromised himself there a little bit by being slightly too aggressive, I think, at the top of Coward Summit. If he'd just hung back a little bit, he might have been able to take the lead there into Paddock Bend. But you've got to learn by doing, and Tim Patterson will never back down from the fight. Through the left, through the right and through the left of the S's. Onto the Rogerson straight. And Tommy Fielding really is running scared here with Tim Patterson and Jake Whittaker all over the back of him. Still good battles everywhere you look. Great to see these riders having amazing wheel-to-wheel stuff. But back to the front, we've only got one more lap to settle this, and it's all down to Tommy Fielding ahead of Tim Patterson and Jake Whittaker. They will come through in very close proximity indeed. Up Pentith Climb, down Coward Summit. And is Tim Patterson going to get another shot? I think Fielding's pulled out an amazing lap when he needed to, of 1:01.6, 0.2 of a second quicker than Tim Patterson on the lap, and that is enough to give him just that tiny bit of breathing space over the number 13. So Patterson is trying every trick in the book. He wants to get closer to Fielding. With a hairpin out of Lucy's Valley, up the crest. And it's going to be tight through the S's. Tim Patterson is going to be pushing all the way. Tommy Fielding working his way through the left, the right, the left, and onto the Rogerson straight. Now up to Luna. All the way through this long flowing right hairpin. Good to see the battles further back, but now attention will turn to Fielding versus Patterson. Can Patterson get there to the line? It's going to be tight, but it's going to be Tommy Fielding. He's done it again. Patterson second from Whittaker. West and Morrison are still scrapping over fourth place, by the way, and Morrison's back in front. West got him on the previous lap. Morrison's got back in front on the final tour. So Morrison ahead of West, and then it's going to be a great battle. Who's going to get there? Is it going to be Cook? I think it is Cook and Caulfield. They both got ahead of Ben Johnson at the line there. Amazing racing to the death.
The results for each of the classes: Minibike 160, Fielding, Patterson and Whittaker from Morrison, Caulfield, Lindley, Heimers, Smith, Walker and Margetson. And in the Minibike Veterans class, it was Lee West from Dave Cook, Ben Johnson, Mike Carr, Barry Clark, Jim Pallister, Barry Lindley and Pete Johnson rounding out the grid. Well, that's all the action from the British Minibikes Championship in 2025. Join us in a month's time when we're back with the UK Kart Series from Jenson Button's favourite circuit at Clay Pigeon in Dorchester. We'll see you then.